Our next question is from Tanner, who asks, what kind of interest has the Fed Start program seen as of late? Has the market responded to this, and will there be additional marketing made towards these startups? And relatedly, when do you expect Apollo to be a significant contributor to Palantir's revenue?
Great, thanks, Tanner. Yeah, FedStart's been a hit, and I think it's easy to understand why. There's been $100 billion of capital that's flowed into the defense tech community at large. No one can afford the 2 years and $2 million it takes to achieve this accreditation. This provides market access. We've started with an intense focus on IL5, bringing folks to the DoD market. We plan to release an IL6 Fed Start at the end of Q2 and FedRAMP High at the end of Q3, early Q4. And we're also going to be taking this to our allies. So we intend to launch Fed Start with the UK on the secret network and above top secret network later this year. Apollo is having its moment. I think it's the charisma it has with customers when they see it running at scale, managing all $2.2 billion of our revenue. I think a big part of this is they've spent the last 2 years trying to solve these problems on their own, and then viscerally understand how much value it can contribute to them, how much it can accelerate them, both on the government program side, but also on the company side, where companies are struggling with how to efficiently deliver modern software into these environments. But I think that the bigger thing that I'm really excited about is Mission Manager, which is Apollo, Rubix, which is our zero trust compute and networking infrastructure, and the Ontology Software Development Kit, the OSDK, as a combined offering to the government to really give the government what they've been asking for, which is infrastructure that allows them to build and manage multi-vendor, big tent ecosystems that drive continuous competition and allow the government to actually control the interfaces and avoid lock-in. And so you can think of FedStart as actually the first product that we've launched on top of Mission Manager infrastructure. We've started doing other projects, including Army C2 work, but that's going to be a very exciting trend for us.
Let me just give an addendum here. Sham launched and it built FedStart, but but one of the most important things it did is before we launched FedStart, the $100 billion of investment in kind of new defense tech largely had the impression Palantir was competitive with them. And we weren't competitive with them. And FedStart aligns all those venture capitalists and all their investments and most of their companies with Palantir, because we can allow them to get onto classified networks much quicker so that they can actually show results to their investors much quicker. And that means a lot of the resistance to us is not only disappearing, but it's actually been converted into support for Palantir, support for what we're doing. And those people are really helping spread the obvious Palantir gospel. Instead of wondering how they can compete with us, they're wondering how we can succeed together.
Thank you both. Our next question is from Keith. Is your greatest competitor still your potential customer's own IT department, or has that changed?
Thanks, Keith. We certainly used to feel that way, but when you look at boot camps, you look at how much charisma AIP has with IT, and the fact that we're winning with IT, with Apollo, with the OSDK, with capabilities like Marketplace, that's certainly not the case anymore. IT has become some of our biggest champions. And I think what that's revealed for us is that perhaps the issue was never actually IT. It was this software industrial complex. Everything Alex was talking about earlier, these thin products that were really designed to sell, and they're more like a drug than they are like medicine. And this sort of strict adherence to architectural conformity. But what I think is exciting about Gen AI is it's blown up all of that. You know, it's been a big reset button here. The whole map, the whole architecture is up for grabs, and we're working very closely with IT to write that map, to write the architecture that is actually delivering all of these operational use cases for these customers.
Now, one of the coolest things about going to these meetings is it used to be 3-4 years ago, you could predict who was going to like us and who wasn't, and it's just not anymore. You go to these meetings and there'll often be the IT person telling the CEO, like, look, we have no choice. We need to install this quickly. And so there's a cultural shift in the U.S. I don't think it's outside the U.S. the case, but inside the U.S., people in IT are responsible for business value. This creates business value. And they're often responsible for global business value. They're not that interested in putting together a PowerPoint and showing how that could work in theory. They've got to show themselves, their company, their workers, the whole, that they're going to get actual revenue, either driving or quality of revenue driving results quickly. And they are almost exclusively now our friends. Maybe they can talk to some analysts. Like we can convert you guys too.
Thanks.